Happy Monday. Hold on just a second, y'all. Let's go to Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hey, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I pray that you all are well. I'm gonna lower this just a little bit. I overestimated my height. Happy Monday, everybody. I pray that you all are well. I pray that your families are well. I pray that today was not only productive, but it was purposeful. I pray that you walked into your day with such a great expectation, not loathing it being Monday, but excited because you have another opportunity to get out there and move forward in your purpose. I pray that you smiled on today. I pray that the only tears that you shed were tears of utter joy because you are excited about where you are heading. I pray that I pray that, here's the thing, I pray that even if you experienced disappointment on today, on this evening, that you decided to identify all of the things that are going well in your life instead and decided to focus on the things that are going well. I pray that you have a spirit of rejoice. I pray that you walk in a spirit of gratitude. I pray that your soul is excited and it is well and it is calm. I pray that your soul is full of peace. I pray that your soul is full of joy. I pray that you have a spirit of great expectation. So, welcome to a whole new week. In fact, welcome to Transformational Mondays. I am Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help women overcome mindsets that prevent profit, progress, and prosperity, and help them to position their purpose for profit. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hi, good evening, good morning, good day, whatever time it is for you. Hi, Joey. Hi, I believe that's Teehee. Hi, all of you all. As you all come in, make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this live with about 2 or 3 people. I pray that you all's day went well. Okay. So again, it's just a brief introduction for those of you all who are coming in. My name is Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help women overcome mindsets that prevent profit, progress, and prosperity and position their purpose for profit. As you all come in, make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this live with about 2 or 3 people. So tonight we're going to talk about the 3 ways to remain consistent in your purpose. And let's talk about consistency just for a brief second. Consistency is cash. I'm going to say that again. In moving, when you're talking about entrepreneurship and the journey of success, the journey of making money, consistency is cash in a lot of ways. And when I say consistency, consistently doing the right things, the right activities to yield the right results. I'm not saying always doing the same thing all of the time in every area of your life or in every area of your business. I am specifically saying identify what is working and consistently focus on the action steps that are working. Let's take, for example, I have lost probably a total of 50 pounds, maybe 50, give or take, probably anywhere from, like, I lost a lot of weight. Let's just say that, right? I wasn't focused on the number. I was focused on consistently drinking water. I was focused on consistently doing the activities that would yield me the results. So I was focused on drinking a gallon of water a day. I was focused on walking at least 30 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week. I was focused on making sure that I consumed a lot of green, leafy, raw vegetables, right? I was consistent and I was focused on, and this is daily. right? These were consistent daily practices that drove my results, or literally yielded my results. So when it comes down to me pursuing my purpose and building my business, I'm going to say this to you all. One thing that a lot of people do not share on the journey of entrepreneurship that I'm going to share is that the journey is not, let's say, perfect. You come up with the idea today, you're going to make money tomorrow, and you will make money forever, every single day. That has not been my experience, right? My experience has been understanding that in order for me to yield consistent profit, to yield consistent revenue, to yield consistent income, I got to be consistent. My activities have to be consistent. So what does that look like for me as a coach and as a speaker? One of the things that I identified is I had to identify what worked for me, what drove leads for me. For those of you all who are not sure of what leads are people who are interested in your brand. These leads are people who are interested buying what it is that you have, right? So I understood that in order for me, and ultimately leads will lead to a sale ultimately. Right? So I'll give you an example. A lead is, let's say you go shopping on a website, and what is the first thing that pops up? Good evening, you all. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this live with about 2 or 3 people. So you go to a website you've never been to before. Let's say you are on social media and the ad pops up and you're like, oh, I like that. I like that. Let me click on it. One of the first things that pops up is they offer you to add yourself to their email list by way of taking advantage of a coupon or some type of freebie, right? So you put in your email address, you put in, or your telephone number, you put in your name, and what they do is you then become a positive lead for them. So what will happen is you'll begin to receive a series of emails that communicate all of the amazing things that are going on with that particular company in an effort to drive you and nurture the relationship with you, so that ultimately when you're ready to purchase whatever it is that they have, that you think of them first before you go to their competitor. That's what I mean by a lead, right? So I understood that in order for me to generate leads, in order for me to connect with my ideal audience, speaking is one of the number one ways that I generate leads. Speaking is the number one way that I connect and get in front of my ideal clients. Speaking is the number one way for me to connect with my ideal clients and reduce the time that it takes to develop that know, like, and trust relationship. You may be saying to yourself, okay, what is know, like, trust? People buy majority of the times from those, whether it's individuals or brands that they know, like, and trust. So you'll easily, as an example, you'll easily go to, let's say, think about a brand that you are used to, that you trusted, that you know that when you go there, you're going to find this. When you go there, it's going to be this particular experience. You continue to shop at and purchase those brands because you know what to expect from those brands, right? That is a know, like, trust factor. That is building a relationship between you and the company or the brand or the person, right, that you are buying from. So I know that when I speak, people listen. At least let me put it like this. My ideal clients listen. I'll put it in perspective. So once I realized that, one of the things that I do every single week consistently, we're talking about consistency, and this is about consistently doing the right things that will ultimately yield the results that you desire in moving in your purpose. So I know every single week that one of the things that I must do is I must seek speaking engagements. So tonight we're going to talk about the 3 ways that the mindsets that I have in order to remain consistent in doing the right things, even if I don't see the results at the time that I want to see them. See, sometimes in business, you're doing the right things, but you may not get the results in the time that you desire. One of my favorite people, Dr. Myron Golden, and he is the only person that I've ever heard say this. He said, before it works for you, it's going to work on you. I'm going to say that again. Before what you're working on works for you to your advantage, before it yields results, before you see the money come, before the clients come knocking at your door, before people start buying from you, excuse me, before you become a millionaire, what the activities that you're doing are going to work on you first. Why? Because you must, in order for anything to change, and I talked about this yesterday, in your life, you got to change first. Not the results. Because what happens is we focus on what we want the results to be. Right? Good evening if you all are just coming in. We want the results to be the results. Let's be real, right? We want that money to come in. We want to see that weight loss instantaneously. But the fact of the matter is, the way that God built us is that he always wants us to grow. He always wants us to mature. How do I know? Think about where man was placed when they were created, in a garden. Which lets me know that God wants us to be in environments where we're always having the mindset that cultivates production. So what happens is, before you see the results that you want, you first have to become the person that can then produce the activity that will yield the results. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. And this is something that I learned personally, because I know I was very goal oriented. And here's the thing. I love goals because it helps us to focus. And focus is very, very important. Right? Focus. A good evening, Keith. I apologize. I don't have time to read through the comments right now because I'm trying to get done. Right? So here's the thing. And I just said all of that. And okay, God, bring it back to my remembrance. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Okay. So here's the thing. One of the things, the benefits about goals is it helps us to have a focus, which then should create disciplines of the right activities that will then yield the results. But I'm going to share this with you. Quit focusing on the goals and focus on the activity and the mindset. First thing is the mindset that will then have the capacity to do the activity that will yield the results. See, what happens is we get excited. It's just like at the beginning of the year, people get excited about the new year and all of these goals and all of these great things that can happen. And then they start working on the goals. They start saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But then when you don't see the results come quick enough, oh, that don't work. You may have invested in a program and they told you exactly how they made their money, how they wrote their book, how they generated X amount of dollars, and you started. But then a month runs by, 60 days comes by, 90 days comes by, and you see a little bit of results, but that's not enough, so that doesn't work. I want y'all to think about taking a seed and putting it in the right ground. Putting a seed in the right ground, in the right environment. Do you get up tomorrow and see any type of evidence of the seed that you planted yesterday? Do you get up 5 days from now and see any evidence of the seed that you planted? No. Why? Because what happened here, and y'all catch this, before you see the external results, here's the thing. Think about what happens first to a seed. Before the seed breaks the ground and goes upward, the seed breaks ground and then develops roots and grows downward. What does that say? What does that say about you? Before you can see the external results, the internal results must manifest in you. You got to change your way of thinking. That's what that means. You got to change your root system. Before you can see the physical results, the internal results have to manifest. So let me tell y'all, don't get discouraged if you're doing all of the right things, if you're posting, if you're going live. For those of you all who are entrepreneurs and you may be discouraged because people aren't buying or they're not buying enough, think about all these people who are on the internet. Let me get out. All these people on the internet. And here's the thing. Think about you. How long do you look and read at somebody's post? Not long. Not long. You don't read anybody's post for a long time at all. Maybe for a couple of seconds. So here's the thing. When it comes down to your content, people do your content the same way. So don't get discouraged. Your goal is not to attract everybody. Your goal is to do the right things long enough in marketing, right? And in showing up that connects with your ideal clients long enough that lets them know that you are serious. That lets them know that you are out here and you are serious about providing value to them. That you are serious about providing them with a solution to the problem that they have that you solve. So let's talk about the 3 ways that you can remain consistent. Number 1, here's how you master consistency. Number 1 is you decide. That is one of the first things you must decide. And I'm going to give y'all the definition of the Webster's definition of decide. The first definition of decide is to make a final choice. What is a final choice? Meaning I'm not turning back. Meaning this is what I said I was going to do. And I don't care what happens, I'm going to do it. I don't care what distractions come, I'm going to do it. I don't care if nobody likes my post or hearts or comments, or even if you don't get 10,000 views or 100 views, you're going to stay committed to the right activity and get your content out there. That's what that means. And for those of y'all who are very, very serious about overcoming those mindsets, overcoming fear, overcoming self-doubt, and you're ready to step into your purpose, but just need some strategy along the way, make sure you click the link below and join me and my amazing guests for the Mindset to Movement Summit. It's a virtual summit. The only thing that it costs you is your most valuable asset, and that is your time. So click the link below and join us next week from the September 2nd through the 4th, where I'm bringing in real entrepreneurs who are going to talk about their journey, the real, the raw, and the uncut. So make sure you click the link below, claim your spot, and register. So you must decide, meaning this is a final choice. So if you said that, just as an example for me, one of the things that I've committed to is doing a reel every day. Every day. So that's a final choice for me. So there's no thought, let me not lie. I don't give myself an opportunity to not do a reel. I don't give myself an opportunity not to do a short. I know it's something that I decided to do. So that's where I focus my intention. Here's the thing. When you decide, there's no turning back. I want you to think about that relationship. I want you to think about any relationship you have been in, right? Whether it's a friendship, a romanticship, or even a career. And you got fed up with the person or the company. And you were like, look, I'm done. And it's nothing that they could say to you for you to change your mind. That's the mindset I want you to have. That's what deciding looks like. When you decide that you're going to move in your purpose, that's what it looks like. That there is no turning back and you're focused and you will not quit. My coach, Dr. Sonia says this. She said, she talks about business, and one of the things that I love about her, she talks about the reality that life happens along your journey of entrepreneurship, just as life happens when you're working a job, right? And she said this. She said, If you must, slow down, but do not quit. I'm going to say that to you. Along your journey of moving in your purpose, if you must, slow down, but do not quit. Do not stop. Keep going. So what does that look like? I'll go back to my own personal story. A couple of months ago, my husband became very ill, and he was in the hospital. And guess what? I committed to doing a reel or a short a day. And I had every opportunity because we had 3 small kids and I was going back and forth to the hospital. I was working at the same time. I was really trying to make sure that I created an environment where our children didn't feel the brunt of our husband. You are so welcome, Pamela. It's so great to see you. Thank you for joining me on tonight, right? So welcome. And I had every opportunity to quit. Every opportunity. Oh, he in the hospital. Oh, I got to see about my children. But this was the perspective I had. I realized that although this was going on, that God still called me to purpose. And the reel and the short only take 15 to 30 seconds. Because here's the reality. Sidebar, for those of you all who are doing reels and shorts, typically people listen or watch your reels and shorts within the first 0 to 10 seconds. And sometimes even less than that, depending upon the content. Okay? So for me, I said, you know what? If I must, I'm going to slow down. But guess what? I did not quit. I did not stop. I was still doing a reel a day. So you got to decide that regardless of what comes your way, you're going to slow down, right? But you won't quit. Next up, as you all come in, make sure you share this live and subscribe to my channel. Here's the thing, and I want to say this to you all. Quit talking yourself out of doing the right things. Even when, let's say, you're doing the right activities to move forward in your purpose and build your business and you don't see the results. And sometimes you have days where you just don't feel like it. Let's be honest. Sometimes, and I'll be honest, I don't always feel like hitting the live button. I don't always feel like scheduling posts. I don't always like doing a lot of the things that I need to do to generate income in my business and connect with my ideal clients. But the reality of it is, I got to. So instead of talking yourself out of doing the right things, instead talk yourself into doing the right things. Dr. JaNee, well, how do I talk myself into doing the right things? Think about it this way. When you talk yourself into something, you're reminding and convincing yourself of what the ultimate product is going to be. Leaving yourself no room to say no. So even when I don't feel like it, I realize that my purpose is bigger than me. I realize that there are women, there are people out there who are looking for the solution to the problem that I solve. They're looking for strategy to overcome mindsets that stop them. They're looking for strategy on how to position their purpose for profit. They're looking for strategy on how to overcome fear and overcome self-doubt, only in the way that I deliver it. So instead of talking myself out of, oh, well, I ain't going to do the live tonight, I'm not going to do this. Guess what? I realize that it's bigger than me. And I do it anyway. Number 2, the number 2 way on how to master consistency in your purpose, and I got my notes here to keep me on task, is to be intentional about being consistent. I want you to think about, here's the thing. One thing about marketing is that it drives those who you are called, if you do it the right way, to serve to you, right? And I said at the beginning of this live that when you're talking about people determining whether they're going to buy or not, majority of the time people buy from brands that they know, like, and trust. And when you think about trust, trust is cultivated. It is developed. It is built over time. This is why when you all go on specific websites, people want to get your email address. They want to get your telephone number. Why? Because they understand that they need to nurture the relationship with you. They need for you to get to know their brand. This is why they send you text messages throughout the day. This is why they send you several emails throughout the week, because they want to nurture and develop that relationship with you. Here's the thing: when you are consistent, and that's a part of the consistency, when you are consistent, I want you to think about relationships, right? When people consistently show up for you, you develop a trust in them. Why? Because they show up for you. When you call them, they're there. And even if they don't answer the phone, they have the courtesy to call you back and make sure you're good. If you're having an event, they're there to support you, right? So what happens is the more that these people show up for you, it lets you know, I can depend on this person. And then the trust develops. Well, when you're talking about moving in business and entrepreneurship and you want people to buy from you, baby, that's a trust factor. You have to consistently show up and market and post and provide valuable content to those who you have been called to serve that lets them know that, guess what? She's somebody I can trust. Because she gonna be here every week. She gonna be here every day. And when she show up, she's not gonna provide garbage. She's gonna provide and speak directly to me about my issue. So you want to be consistent. You want to be intentional. How do you be intentional about doing the consistent things in your purpose? Here's one of the things that I do. I work, and in all full transparency, I still work a full-time job, right? And I use my full-time job to fund my business. My full-time job is my investor, right? I am my investor in my business. So one of the things that I do to prevent burnout is I have 2 days a week that I schedule to work on my business. Sometimes I do more than that. Shh, don't tell nobody. So Mondays are days that I do transformational Mondays. Mondays are days that I focus on content. And Thursdays are the days that I focus on speaking engagements. So I carve out time of my schedule on Thursdays to give the time to to pitch myself for speaking engagements. I'm intentional about it. So much that I set a timer to seek speaking engagements to keep me focused. Because what happens when you set an intention to do something? Do not be surprised when distraction comes. Right? Don't be surprised when you set your intention that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And then somebody calls, somebody texts, something happens. No, you got to be intentional. Set the schedule and stick to the schedule. And be aware of time wasters and people. Time wasters can be things and time wasters can be people. You're going to have to identify the things and the people in your life that are distracting you and threatening to take you away from being productive in your purpose that will lead to profit. And here's what you'll have to do. You'll have to reduce spending time with those people. You'll have to reduce spending time doing those things. Here's the thing. I scroll on social media, but you bet on Thursdays at a specific time, I set that timer and it's time to go to business, right? It's time to do business. It's time to pitch myself for speaking engagements. And I'm focused on that. I'm intentional about it. On Mondays, I'm hitting the live button because I got to go live, right? So number 3 way. And I hope you all are getting something. If there's a question that you have about consistency, feel free to drop it in the chat. You may be thinking to yourself, well, you work a full-time job, you a mama, you got all of these different things going on. If you have a question about consistency, maybe I will answer it. So I'm sure I will, but I would love to answer one live if somebody has a question about being consistent or how to remain consistent in their purpose. So just drop it in the chat. I'm almost done, so you may want to go ahead and drop it really, really quickly. Hi, Jamila. Lastly, number 3. So how do you remain consistent in your purpose? Here's one of the main ways that I remain consistent, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all ready? I remain consistent because I realize that it's so much bigger than Dr. JaNee. That's how I remain consistent. I realize that is so much bigger than me. I realize that God is only using me to transform the lives of other people. I realize that it's not about me. Everything that you're creating, everything that you're doing in your purpose is not about you. It's that somebody's life will be changed. Is that somebody will be transformed. Is that somebody will experience the transformation that you provide so that their lives will be better. Oh dear, consistency is so hard for you. You hate to give it up to ADHD, but boy, it's challenging going on against your brain. And you know what? Thank you so much, Jamila, for being honest. One of the things that I'll say about that is, and this is something that worked for me, right? I learned this from somebody, is to create time blocks. But let me be real specific on how I do stuff. I've learned to set a timer, right? Because you can get easily distracted by stuff. So let's just say your goal is to create content, right? And you want to create content by recording reels. This is just an example. You can apply this to any area of your life, right? Set a timer on your phone. Better yet, you can turn on the do not disturb option. Turn on the do not disturb option. Set a timer for however long that you want to work on whatever activity. So for me, I'll set 30 minutes for speaking engagements, an hour, and I'll strictly focus on that particular project. Yes, love timers and time blocks. I use all of them. Great. Because they work so well. They work so well. I know for me, it keeps me focused. Because I know after a while that timer going to go off, and I know I got to do the work, right? Okay. So lastly, as I was saying, I want you to always remember that your results are not about you, but is that somebody's life will be transformed in a fantastic way. I always say this, but it's so true. I think about Moses. I think about Esther in the Bible. I think about Jeremiah. My God, I think about Jesus. God created these people for a purpose, that others will be transformed. And they made the decision to show up. They made the decision to show up. And because of that, and here's the thing, they showed up consistently. They weren't perfect, but they showed up. And because of their decision to be consistent, lives were changed. Think about who you will impact just by showing up and providing the value that God created you to provide, so that others will be transformed and get the solution to their problem. So I appreciate you all for joining me. If you haven't already, make sure you click the link below and join me and my amazing guests for the Mindset to Movement Summit. Make sure you click the link below to get more details, because guess what? They're going to be dropping those amazing gems starting next Tuesday. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic evening. And remember to know your worth. Good night, y'all. Bye.